All right, welcome back to the shop. So today I'm going to do a quick video on installing the master power disconnect relay. On the early ITVs and PMs, they didn't have a battery disconnect switch. And so if these things sit for too long, you can come out and your batteries are dead. And I think it's because there's parasitic draw on the battery equalizer system. This unit here, what it does is it monitors, well, first off, we have two 12-volt batteries. We make 24 volts by running them in series. Most of the stuff's powered by 24 volts, but a lot of it's controlled by 12. So if you see on this particular battery, it's the one with the ground cable, the one that grounds to the frame. It's got a smaller wire that's crimped on the battery terminal on the positive side as well. And it goes over here to a breaker, and it goes goes out to the dash, and it controls, a lot of the control switches are controlled by 12 volt, but they switch 24 volt. Compressor's 24 volt, but it's controlled by 12 volt. So anyways, what this thing does, it makes sure that both your batteries charge together as 24 volts as needed, as they're used, but it also monitors this single battery that's doing 12 volts so it can keep it topped off. Because if it didn't do that, as you use more and more 12 volt out of here, the system's only going to charge 24 volt. Well, this one's always going to be a healthier battery. This battery here will slowly get worse and worse, and it'll ruin this battery. So this unit here, that's what its job is to monitor and maintain the 12 volt battery as well as the 24 volt batteries, with the power basically coming from the alternator. And this thing, I'm assuming it's always kind of monitoring, and that's probably where we're getting our parasitic draw, and that's what's killing it. So there was an update they did to a lot of the growlers, and I've only seen it on 1163s. I haven't seen it on 1161s yet, but I have a couple of 1163s in the shop right now that have been updated with the I-cubed. One thing are these headlights. You'll know you have the update if you have these headlights that they're not recessed in, they're set flush, and they're LED headlights rather than halogen. It's a different air cleaner. The air cleaner is set up a little better so that if you're coming off of a landing craft and you get that wave of water rushing over the hood, the water will go into the air cleaner and it'll go straight out the bottom and it won't get into the filter. And then one other thing, well, there's a lot of other things. I'm not going to go into all of them, but then they put the switch here on the dash, and it's master battery, and that's to cut the batteries off. Come around here to the back. So this is what an ITV looks like, or a PM looks like with her pants down, I guess you could say. Here's where the batteries normally sit. There's a box around it. You have the controllers for your airbags. Well, there's the lines coming off. There's the controllers for the airbags. You've got the relay for the air compressor. This is the new battery disconnect switch that they put in. Here's a breaker for it. And what it does, this is the power going to it as well. I'm going to show you on mine what it does. It'll be easier to show you on the ITV just because there's more room in there. So we'll come over to the ITV, and basically what we're doing, so we have the main power 24 volt coming off the right battery. It goes to the 175 amp relay. We're going to disconnect that from the relay. It's going to get hooked up to here on the power side, the positive side. And then the one that's marked negative on here is this new cable, and it's going to go to the 175 amp relay that we just took the battery cable off of. And then let me continue tracking with that. Okay, then we have this wire, and they're all labeled, which is really cool. This says master battery relay positive. So this is the master battery relay. This is the positive terminal. They're both positive, but this is the one that's going to have the power coming from the battery, so it's always hot. So it's marked positive on here. It comes off there and goes to this breaker to supply power to the breaker. On the other side of the breaker, we're going to have, and it's labeled, circuit breaker auxiliary. The shiny post is the auxiliary one. The copper post is what they call bat. That's the one coming into the breaker. The auxiliary is one coming out. The other end of this is labeled compressor solenoid right, so it's going to go to the compressor solenoid to the right terminal on there. And then we have another one that goes to the auxiliary side of that, which is basically the protected side of it. It says circuit breaker auxiliary, so we run that to the circuit breaker auxiliary. And then the other wire on it says relay red wire. So the red wire on the relay. This black wire, obviously, it's going to get grounded, just straight to the ground. And then the other end of this harness that I was just talking about, it goes to the toggle switch. So this is toggle switch. You can hook up a key switch if you want, or toggle switch. It doesn't have to be a high amp switch because this thing is only using probably milliamps or maybe 1 or 2 amps to switch. I haven't decided if I'm going to put this key switch or the toggle yet. This package that I got, or this, it's like a set that I got. It was all in a sealed bag for this. It was part of the iCube update. The harness that goes up to the toggle switch, this thing is set up for an 1163, so it's not even long enough to go to the dash on a 61. It's about twice as far. So don't think I'm going to hook it up on the dash on mine. I think I'm going to hide it, put it in a kind of a remote location, so that way it becomes kind of a security device for me as well. So I'm not even going to put in the video where I end up putting that, just for my own security on my vehicle. But for here, I'm showing you guys where it goes. This goes to the switch. And then another item they give you is this. I believe it's a resistor. So it goes on the battery equalizer, and one goes to the positive. This one goes to the ground terminal on it, and then the other end goes to the positive terminal on it. There's 3 terminals on the equalizer. There's the very bottom on the ITV. Over here, it's the ground. The center one is your 12 volt, and then the one on the opposite end of the ground is the 24 volt, and that's what this is going to. So it's going to that 24 volt positive and the 24 volt ground, and then you just put some screws or pop rivets or zip tie it onto something or whatever. I think it's I'm not positive what it is. It does say on the tag, see, it says iCubed, and then it says 10 volt DC bleed off cable assembly. So I think what it is a resistor, and it's just sucking residual juice out of here. I don't know why, because I don't know exactly how this works, but I think it has something to do so that it'll cut off your 24 volt without a problem. I don't know, don't quote me on it, it's just a guess. And the kit comes with some other stuff. It comes with an on-off placard for the switch, in case you don't know which way is up. Nice little tag that says master disconnect with pop rivets to mount it. Comes with the stainless steel screws and nuts and lock nuts and washers for it. The protective cover for the breaker, and then a cover for the relay. Once you get done, you pop the cover on. So that's kind of all that's in the kit. That's kind of what things hook to. We're going to do some video now on installing. I'll just kind of record clips of us installing parts of it, because I don't want to make this a 2-hour long video or an hour long video, and then recap this kind of stuff at the end. All right, thanks. Here's the bolts that come through that mount the relay. They've got stainless steel bolts with stainless steel nylock. That's just in the right rear wheel compartment. So there we got the relay mounted. Next, we're pulling the battery cable off, and we'll hook the battery cable up to the relay, and then we'll run the cable from the relay to the 175 amp breaker. All right, so we've got this finished up. We ran into one problem on it. I'll go over that in 1 second. I'll just kind of give you a quick overview of what we did. So we mounted the relay here. We mounted that resistor here. Just drilled a hole here and put an 1/8 inch pop rivet in that to hold that against the side firewall. And this, like I said earlier, it's labeled. It hooks onto the equalizer here. One goes to the 24 volt positive, and one goes to the negative terminal on it, and that's it on that. It's all by itself. Then off of here, you've got you run in this one harness. You run the small red wire or pink wire to the positive on here, which is coming from the positive battery. And that's the marked positive terminal on the relay. And then that wire goes to, they give you a breaker, one of these self-resetting breakers, but I didn't want to drill holes and mount all that, so I just mounted an inline fuse, because it was only a 10 amp breaker anyways, so it wasn't even like one of those big 50s. So I just put the inline fuse. So the wire, power comes off of this, which is basically 24 volt battery power. It goes to the fuse, and then out of the fuse, you can't see it here because I got it taped up. It goes into the cable that's going to my switch, and then I haven't hooked the switch up yet because I'm going to put that up on after the video's done here. One of the wires, this wire here comes from the fuse, so it's 24 volt hot wire from a fuse, and then the return wire is going to go, both these hook to the switch. Then the return wire comes back through that harness and comes out and goes to you can't see it. Yeah, it's right back here. This red wire that comes out of the relay, out of the battery relay. It has a black and a red wire that come out of it. There's a small gauge, like an 18 gauge. And so that goes to that positive on there. That black wire, we just grounded it right here with one of the Allen screws that mounts it to the to the wheel well here. So it's got ground there. And you flip the switch. You're taking power from here, which comes from the battery, and you're giving it to the relay here, and that just connects the relay, tells it to close the circuit. So I'll demonstrate it here just by touching these two wires together, because this will just be the switch here. So you close that circuit, and then it closes this circuit, which sends 24-volt battery to the 175 amp relay, you know, via this 2-watt cable that they give you to put on it, and that's it. So other than that, it's just mounting the switch, you know, wherever you want to mount it, and it's really simple. Now, it came with this other wire, and it kind of confused us for a while, and it says to put it to the solenoid, the compressor solenoid, and then to the same breaker that we put here for this, you know, to protect the wire circuit going to the switch. But that's totally wrong. We hooked it up and things were going crazy, and so we had to stop and think about it. And we went over and looked at this M1163 that's behind me and kind of traced its wiring around. And so this wire shouldn't have been in the kit, or I don't know why it was in the kit, but you don't need this wire. You're basically just hooking up, this breaker is interrupting your battery cable from your 175 amp breaker, your main breaker. And then you're just running power, you're grounding this, and you're running a switched power to this wire. It's that simple. So it's really easy to hook up. It looks a little more confusing than it is, but it's really not that confusing. If you're interested in buying these, there's a guy selling them on eBay. Hit him up to you know, buy one off him, or contact me and I can get you in touch with him as well to get one of these battery disconnect switches. And so basically I'm just gonna hide the switch somewhere so that I can, it's just another safety device. Plus, if this thing sits for 2 weeks, I won't come out and have a dead battery. So that's it, nice and simple. Anyways, thanks for watching. If this helps or anything, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed already, please hit subscribe, hit that button, and that way you can follow me and see my other videos that I have. I've got about 50 videos out now, a lot of them on these military vehicles, on these M1161, 63s, some other military vehicle stuff I've worked on, and also heavy equipment that I work on as well. So anyways, thanks for watching and have a good day.